suffering grounds us. That's the phrase that pops through my head as I read this passage in Corinthians, as I rep my way through it. Is suffering grounds us. This is what I mean. During this time of COVID-19, it's a time of suffering. And it's been a time for me of learning. The word disciple. Remember I said I would call you disciples as cross-trainers. The word disciple means learner. In this time of COVID-19, I've been learning a lot about myself. It's been teaching me who I am as a husband, who I am as a dad, who I am as a pastor, but also who I am as a disciple. You see, suffering grounds you. It gets you to see that you're limited, that you're broken. And this is what Paul's saying. I've learned some things through suffering. I want to know, Paul doesn't like it. He says in these passages, I pray to God, take it away. I don't like it. But I'm learning through it. It's grounding me, God, in your grace. And for that, I give thanks. It is ultimate good to Paul. See, Paul says he has a lot of things that he could boast about his life. The most recent thing he names is, he kind of talks in the third person, but he's referring to himself. He said, I know this guy pretty well. I look at him in the mirror. He went into the third heaven. I personally don't know what that means. I've never been there. I don't know if you get to heaven, then you take an elevator to third floor. I don't know. But basically what he's saying is I've been to a place that many humans have been. I've been in the presence of God. That's heaven. And I've been to the third level. But so I wouldn't get conceited. God gave me a thorn. We don't know what that is. Or a splinter. It's poking and it's pain. And he said he did this to ground me in his grace. I need to see that I'm both broken and limited. I need to see that a man who is strong is not a man that we live with according to the definitions of our culture. It's not one who's muscular. It's not one who's emotionally controlled. It's not one who's successful. That's typically maybe what we think of when we think of someone who's strong. But one who's strong, Paul says, is one who lives a meaningful life in connection to Jesus. They're not muscular, necessarily. They're not necessarily emotionally controlled, but they're controlled by the Spirit. That's strength. They're not one who's successful, but they find deep satisfaction in the salvation of Jesus Christ. Paul says this thorn grounds me in God's grace. And it's where I find my strength. It's where I find my power. When I am weak, I am strong because I experience the fullness of God's strength being flowed through my life. And if we go back to an Old Testament passage, this is the strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. It's not in what I can accomplish. It's in what Jesus accomplished. It's not in what I can lift. It's in how deep God has loved. Today, are you grounded? And what is grounding you today into that precious grace?